our girl, Catherine from Put a Ring on It.
Hey, how are you guys? Y'all looking cute.
No, baby.
Lot. Thank you.
No, we ain't finna do that, baby, because, baby, you. Okay, I'll do my little shimmy, baby, because you look beautiful.
Look, I'm gonna shimmy with you one time for a
Okay.
little Uzi Vert.
No filters, baby. That's just beauty over
No
there, okay?
filters. Thank you.
She's just
Thank you.
gorgeous, okay?
Thanks.
Anyways, thank you for joining us, Kat. Thank
Well, thank you
you.
guys for having me. Obviously, thanks for the support of watching Put a Ring on It. My first season ever seeing the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, that's
God.
why I was a little confused about a lot of stuff, and I was just like, I'm just gonna be honest because I think that's what we're supposed to do.
Right, right. And we're gonna get into all of that. But first, Kat, let them know where you're from, like where you grew up. Who are you?
So I am from Triple D, but South Dallas, Texas. No. But I am from Dallas, Texas. I am a hairstylist. I grew up in South Dallas, and that's what kind of I feel made me an entrepreneur. Anybody that's from Dallas know it is not. You cannot just have one hustle, and so that has been one of my biggest advocacies is just being a serial entrepreneur and just trying to push that. That's what led me to Atlanta. It came off like a man brought me here, but it was obviously to relocate my business because I'm a hairstylist, and just grow in an area that's saturated with other dope hairstylists and just be bomb as fuck and also represent Dallas, Texas.
Already.
You know, it's like you get capped.
You do.
Once everybody know you, they stop showing the same love because it's like,
It's
oh, you
hating
don't
now.
want to be too big.
Yeah, it's
So you
hating.
got to go somewhere else where you're not. A girl just told me this other day. A shark can only grow as big as the tank that
Water.
he's in.
Yeah.
I had to come to a tank that was big enough for me to really expand.
Right, absolutely. And she is telling facts, y'all. It's like serious. It's like they only allow you to get so big and the hate start coming out. You were like, I thought you was supposed to.
Right. You'd be like, damn, I thought we was cool.
Yeah. It switch up real fast.
That is the energy that I kept receiving. I felt from Dallas. I love my city. I love the people. I love my clients. But once I felt like I started wanting to do more, the support stopped. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, all right, let me go somewhere else. Because one thing I do know and I've learned is anywhere you go and it's a new space and you're the new person, they're gonna always love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you meet Ricky?
So, and that was the most confusing thing. Me and Ricky, because I want to clarify, me and Ricky did not date for 10 years. Me and Ricky known each other for 10 years because we dated 12 years ago.
Okay.
And when we dated 12 years ago, everything was like really, really good. Like me and Ricky didn't have any issues, but obviously we were young. I had moved to Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta. Again, I was trying to start my career. But my granny raised me. She got sick. And so once my granny got sick, that's all I needed. And it brought me back to Dallas for 10 years. In that 10 years, like me and Ricky said, he's been able to see me in relationships. I've been able to see him in relationships. And because we were friends, we helped each other out a lot of times or just, conversed about it or what we should do in certain situations. And because of that, we felt like, okay, we got the friendship down. We know when we dated, it was really, really good and we didn't have any issues. So why not give it another go? Especially because I'm moving back to Atlanta. And Ricky, being the man that he is, his thing was, if you're going to move here, why not try to make it easier, right? I have this big house with my family. They're more than welcome for you to come stay here. So let's do it. And in that space, we created our plan, which was marriage eventually. But it was, we're going to stay here for about 2 years, save our money, fix our credit, get our lives together, build my clientele more so, and then move out and do X, Y, and Z.
Okay, so with that being said, how in the world did Put a Ring on It become a part of the plan?
People don't even believe me when I tell this story, right? This is the craziest thing. When I had just moved here, literally, like, probably hadn't been here a month with Ricky, right? Everything was good. And he was working full time. So I was more like a stay-at-home girlfriend, helping out, XYZ, and also trying to build my clientele. I ran into some scammers. So that's what kind of pushed me back. Because the first salon space I was supposed to get took my money. So Yeah, so I had to learn to take it a little slower because when you feel like you're ready to pop, you're ready to pop. And I wasn't taking the necessary precautions. And so Ricky had to remind me, like, this Atlanta, finesse capital. So you have to slow down. And I'm grateful for that space. But I'm on Instagram, just minding my business. Ricky literally just left for work. And it's like, do you or your boyfriend or spouse have an ultimatum about marriage? And like, me and him had a conversation about waiting 2 years or waiting a year to talk about marriage. Not actually getting married, but like just to have the conversation, because one of the biggest things I wanted to point out was Ricky, Dunbar, Jasha, and I don't think Zay, all were married before. The show did not talk about that. Ooh. It is hard, one, to get a black man to marry you the first time, let alone remarry. And that was the space I was in when I decided to respond to that Instagram message, not knowing this was something that was gonna go all the way to put a ring on it. So I'm just like, answer the little 10-minute questionnaire, not even 10 minutes, 10 question questionnaire, like my name, his name, where I'm from, where he's from, what we do, how long we've been together, and why I feel like it's time for ultimatum. Boom. Literally 30 minutes later, a lady named Beth was contacting me from Care Casting and was like, hey, we seen your profile. We would like to talk to you. Put a ring on it. And I'm like, what? I hadn't even talked to Ricky about it. Wow. Because it happened that fast. So now he's on his way to work and I'm like calling him like, hey, I don't know if this is real or not, but these people talking about they want us to do this show. Like, do you think this is something you'd be interested in? Because that was the biggest thing too, is we didn't want to go on the show and play. We wanted to really go on the show and see, right, like, what are our issues, that we're probably not seeing right now because we're still in the beginning stages. So we honeymooning it, right? But we're also 34 and 35. So we need to also kind of get an idea of not ignoring red flags, right? Because we're friends, so we you know how that be. You really want something, and that's something my family know about me. When I want something, I'm gonna try my best to make it work. And so I saw it as an opportunity to try to do that. It ended up going really, really fast. Like OWN was calling us like within the next days. And then we were on a call with people and it was just like, oh. So me and Ricky didn't even really have a chance to process or even watch the show to see what we're really getting ourselves into. But we were just super committed to figuring us out. I can't speak for everybody because I think at the end of the day, the fans are really on point. Like Twitter on point, YouTube on point, y'all comments be on point. And so you have an idea of who is there for the right reasons. And then you have an idea of who is not there for the right reasons. I think that for me, it was truly a blessing. I got to meet Dr. Stacy. Dr. Stacy definitely opened up a lot of wounds that I think I was trying to suppress or I thought I had healed from, especially like the mommy issue. Dr. Stacy pressed me on that. Y'all didn't really see it because my mom did not show up. And that was the most hurtful part for me. Like, and when people was like, I was disappointed about the engagement. No, I was more hurt about in real time what I was experiencing with my parents, like, because it was kind of really coming to the forefront that damn, like a lot of my issues stem from my childhood. And these are not even issues with Ricky, but these are just issues that now I'm on this show. And like, I'm talking to this relationship expert and she's really like exposing certain things. And the biggest question for me was why? Like, why do I have a problem with certain things like this? Why? You know what I'm saying? And so once I started trying to dissect those things, it just made it clear that I need to focus on me and my healing. And so I feel that that was the direction I really, really honed into. And that's why I got the best feedback as far as the show.
With that being said, in regards to your healing, how are you in that process?
Girl, I got a therapist. I got a life coach. And I will tell y'all this. I was not one of those people that, because I tried therapy before because some other stuff happened to me in my childhood. And so I went to therapy for that when I was dating Corey, who was my ex that showed up on the show. He because me and Corey were supposed to get married, and so once he started seeing I had some trauma dealing with, needless to say, I was molested by 3 of my cousins when I was a child.
Me too.
And so that was the space that Corey was dealing with, and so that's where we ran into a lot of hard issues. And he sent me to therapy, and we kind of like dealt with that, and I'm thinking like, okay, I'm good now. But in this relationship, it was more so my mommy and daddy issues were exposed. And so that was one of those things of, okay, I got to be serious about my life, not even this relationship, but just about me and my healing. And so one of the first things I did with my money from the show was find me a therapist out here. And I got to give a huge shout out to Dr. Stacy, because she actually found it for me. She found me a therapist. And then one of my homegirls had just finished getting her life coaching certification. And so she was like, hey, I got some clinicals. I'd like to offer you some services. And when she did, the thing I admired about Chanel was, even as my friend that knew all my business, she never had our sessions like that. Every session was like new information that she had never known. Mind you, I talked to this girl about everything. But it was that authenticity of a therapist. And so with her life coaching and Dr. Stacy's therapist that she sent me, it just really meshed and made me feel like, okay, I'm in a better space to really make better decisions for myself in my life. And that was my biggest thing from the show going into it. I will say, me and Ricky's biggest thing was the therapy. We didn't care about the dates. We didn't care about the show like that. We cared a lot about the therapy, because that was the one thing that we really saw the benefit of, because therapy costs. I know, because I'm paying for it. And so when you're saying I can get it for free, why not? But the thing we didn't think about was, it's free, but it's exposed. So you got to be careful.
Right. And I want to say I commend you for being so
Thank you.
transparent, even in this now moment, because I mean, it's just we can be exposed together. I suffered from childhood sexual abuse by my husband. I have a whole documentary talking about it, because I dealt with that, and so I commend you. And like, I still haven't myself got help, because like you said, it's expensive. So
Yes.
but when I tell you, like, it's sad, because so many families deal with this.
And what's crazy is, this is a generational thing that I found out. My mom was molested. Her mom was molested. My great grandma. Wow. And so that's another space too, why I'm so protective when it comes to certain situations that's with me. And then the Smokey comes out.
Okay.
I would love to see your documentary too, so make sure you send me that link.
I am. In regards to the show, you like you said, you dug deep. You even had your father come on, and you guys had a heart-to-heart conversation. Was that something that he was prepared for? Because I'm not gonna lie, when y'all were talking, I was just like, oh wow.
My dad, and this is me being honest, he tried to be all cool and like, well, I was there and like, I wish that production would have kept that scene in there. I was like, we're not gonna be fake. And I said that. I was like, we're not gonna be fake. I met you when I was 14. So that did a lot, like, because obviously I have a relationship with my granny, right? So if she's been in the picture my whole life, where you was at for 14 years, that's something that still bothers me, because you raised my brothers and them, right? And so that was a conversation we had aside from the show, because that was something too I noticed was creating a jealousy spirit in me when it came to people, or more so of a territorial thing. Like, my dad always put so many other things up before me and other kids, because he had stepkids that he was helping raise, and I'm like, wow, you ain't helping me. Yeah. Like, so that was a real tough conversation, I think, for him. But for me, I was ready.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then my father was present to a certain extent, but by way of me, asking questions as I got older, it was really my mom, like, get your daughter. And, but to me, it was like, oh, my daddy left me, girl. No, no, child. So, yeah. And see, the thing is that here in time, it's always father, son. You got to be, no, it's very important for that man to be there for their daughter too.
It actually is way more important, because and I love too that men now it may be a joke, but I love that men are saying things to the nature of, I'm taking my daughter to expensive restaurants, so she won't let nobody bum son make her feel like it's something special.
Come on now.
Those things really do change the trajectory of how you experience a relationship, and if you ignore red flags or if you stay. And I feel like, for the most part, that's why a lot of Black women stay and suffer, because our mothers endured and they kept trying to cover up and save face, when the reality is we should have been exposing. We should have been calling some stuff out, holding some things accountable. Absolutely. And that way we would have really got to some stuff, and Black women wouldn't be so hurt,
Absolutely. Speaking of hurt, now we saw on the episode a blow up, baby.
Yes.
You know, and I'm not gonna lie, I quite enjoyed it. I was like, that's so real. I'm not gonna look, I love the authenticity of it all. I love genuine people. I love the realness. No, I didn't like that. And this is how I feel. Because
Right.
I say that because you were able to get it corrected. You get what I'm saying? I don't like to
Exactly.
fake. My sister tell you, I can't stand fake and fraudulent people. I'm very transparent for a reason because I want the correction. Now, I'm human, so I may push back a little bit, but at the
Right.
end of the day, if I'm okay with being held accountable, you know what I'm saying? If you can
See,
show
but I
me,
feel like that was me. I felt like to a degree in some situations I was the only one that was just like, okay, I hold myself accountable for this. But what about them? Like, you know how you the only student in the class that get in trouble, but everybody acting up. You like,
girl,
like everybody gonna say none of them? Like, this is me and Ricky the first day. Zay and Jasmine wasn't there. We had Dunbar and Chance then.
oh Lord,
Everybody did their intro, and me and Ricky got in the car. Was like, we should have practiced. And we was like, we not on point. Like,
that was
they
my
got that stuff together.
that was my couple to review. Yeah,
Like,
that was my couple to review, and they'll tell you. And if you watched and how I was like, you know, they irritated me because it was the antics, you know, the praying and hold me. And
hold me closer. That's my line, though, y'all. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah,
That's
that
my
made
favorite
me,
line.
hold me. Okay, hold my heart. Hold my heart.
Right, look
Like,
hard.
your heart. It just, you know. Did you see that they got recently engaged?
What's crazy is Dunbar is from Dallas.
Yes.
So he became my homeboy off that marriage. Like, because if
Yeah.
you're from Dallas, I can't help it. I just
Yeah.
like, and when people was taking him down, I was like, but that's my friend now, y'all. Hold on. Because he's from Dallas. I got to protect him.
Right.
But I will say this. Dunbar and them definitely did come in my opinion, and I've said this to them, with alternative motives.
Yeah.
However, they did not show Dunbar in his best light. One thing I loved about Dunbar is he kept trying to connect with Ricky. Because his thing is he saw something different man to man. You know, he saw that Ricky was possibly dealing with like depression, anxiety, and just a lot, you know, and that is something I can't see, you know, because I'm a woman. So I got my problems.
Right.
And so when Dunbar kept trying to connect with him in that way, and even the other men too, because Dunbar has so many organizations for men, I did not like that they really tried to make him seem controlling. And I will say, I rode with Chance because I like that she tried to protect that narrative. Because Dunbar was not controlling, but they definitely had a game plan. But I ain't trying to be messy. If you pay attention, somebody wasn't there. And so that's why we kind of seen him opening up. And when that other person appeared again, everything shut down.
That's what our issue was over here. And I'm not going to lie because, no shade, that's your friend now. But the engagement, I looked sideways at it because I was just like, you know, and in a way, I'm not going to lie, again, you did it on TV. And so she looked like she didn't really, no shade. She just like,
I'm going to say this because I feel their engagement happened on Fox 5 because they wanted to
capitalize,
not even prove a point,
capitalize,
but kind of like, it's like shit on the network, right? Yeah, like, so that was like, it was kind of like, oh, we're not there this week, but we want to keep our buzz going, so we about to get engaged, you know?
Yeah, and hey,
but I will say, Dunbar did stand on that ground of they didn't need the show. And my thing was, so why you here? Like, I kept saying it in the confessionals. I was like, because even Chance said it, and she was like, we're perfect, we're good. I'm like, so why you here?
Yeah,
because like, I'm over here like we ain't good, and we trying to figure some stuff out.
Yeah, that was my frustration when I was watching the show. I was like, they don't need to be here. Like, why are they here? Like, okay, you know, why?
And we saw, and I love them to death. I love both of them. I love what Chance got going on. I love what Dunbar got going on. But we definitely saw it was definitely for clout. Okay. But to a degree, it was for clout. Because my thing is, I think you can go to their Instagram and see their relationship and their connection and how they're growing together.
Yeah.
But the show's platform for them was clout. And that's why it was easy for them to leave too. Because it's like, okay, we here. Y'all seen who we are. Come follow us. But we don't need this because again, we were in the process strictly for the therapy. And so we wasn't really into the space of how they gonna edit this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't think that through. We didn't think none of that through. We was just like, we're in the process. We're trying to take it seriously. Especially because Dr. Stacy keep being on us. Like, you gotta be in the process. You gotta take it serious. So it's just like, okay, taking it serious. We're not trying to waste somebody's time, especially mine. So this is where we are.
Right. I think, not trying to be funny and to get off of Dunbar and Chance, I think they saw the footage and I think they were looking like, oh, they trying to play us. So that's what
I'm going to say this. There was no way to see it. Because as we were filming every day, we were filming every, and then keep in mind, y'all, these antics they were doing on their own. Nobody was telling him to pray for a man to cuss him out. Yeah. Nobody was telling her to say, hold me closer. Nobody, like, even, and I shouldn't say this, but even the producers was just like, this is just, they making our job easy. And so, you get what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
These were all their things that got kind of backfired on them.
That's what I was about to say without saying it. I think it low-key backfired on them. They said, oh, okay, you finna come on set and act like this? That's okay. Okay.
I learned that too. If it bleeds, it leads. Yeah. So whatever they can get to the people to talk about more, they're going to, because even like when they showed my scene when I went off on Ricky, when I first seen the preview, I was like, that happened way at the end. Like,
wow.
Like, right. But they kept playing that every week. And I was just like,
wow. So that's interesting to know. So, okay. So let's get into these dates, child.
Yes.
Okay. So, Ricky isn't here with us to be able to, talk. But was he... That last, I think it was the last date. The lady that was like a life coach or whatever.
Kay.
That was like,
I got in trouble, y'all, because Kay was older than us, and y'all know when you from Texas, you say Miss, right? Yeah. They kept on reprimanding me, talking about, don't call her Miss. Don't call. I was like, if Dr. Stacy wasn't going by Dr. Stacy, I would definitely be like Miss Stacy.
I was saying we do that down here. If you're older than me, even if you're in an authoritative position, I'm gonna call you ma'am. And I went like north, and people like, stop saying that to me. I'm like,
they thought I was trying to be shady by calling her Miss K. They was like, but you ain't call Sheila Miss Sheila. I was like, because me and Sheila the same age.
Yeah, like, it's a Southern thing, as like we're just cordial. Sorry.
Exactly. Producers told me and Ricky several times, watch the show. And me and Ricky's like, all right. We seen one clip of Shay and Fonzo on their double date. Yeah. And we kind of, I think we just was like, oh, if it's like that, we good. Like, because y'all saw on our double dates, we was good. Like,
no, ma'am. It got very spicy towards the end. With these dates that you guys were going on, okay, was it at any point in time that y'all saw each other in passing that you knew that? How did they get these dates? Were they actors that was cast, real people? Did they know?
They never really told us how they got the dates. But I'm gonna say this: we did have to do a lot before the show, like a lot of psych exams, questionnaires. And like, even to a degree where one time it was like 30 minutes of questions about what I thought Ricky's type was. And the same for him. Like, what is Catherine's type? And so I feel like that's what they did. They went off of what we said and our partner said. Because at the end of the day too, if you tell, because I was being honest, and like my thing is Ricky's type that I know of is like Cardi B, which is kind of like fair skinned women, banging body, whoop de whoop. And for him, his thing was my type, her type is me. And I'm like, that's true, but my type is also other things.
Right. What was it about Ricky that attracted you to him? Like, what was it?
Crazy thing. When you asked me this, I should have told this story because I told it, but they edited it out. I approached Ricky in 2012 when we were at a tailgate. I was talking to a whole nother guy, y'all. I was so shady. Right. And Ricky was kind of coming off a bad time, so he wasn't really looking for nothing. But I was just like, what's your name? And like, so we kind of started talking. He flaked on me, but then he made it up. Well, his cousin made it up because his cousin and my friend was talking. And so they was like, hey, we about to go bowling. I just told Ricky to come meet us there. And I'm like, oh. And so that day changed a lot because we ended up going bowling, having a good time, sitting in the car, talking for hours. Like, when I say hours, y'all, it was like the next morning.
Wow.
Like, and so at the time I was practicing abstinence. And this is
Mm-hmm.
what stood out for me with Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
I had told him that, but I was in Atlanta and I had been talking to a lot of men and I had told them all that, and they kind of, they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky was like, I've never did that. I think I want to try it with you.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I thought he was lying. So I was
Mm.
like, okay. We ended up trying it, ended up falling into a relationship, and that's when we dated the first time. When I was like, we didn't have no issues. It was a great relationship until I had to move.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky's character did not get shown at all, and I blamed a lot of it on him because I know Ricky shuts down. Like, because he is not. If y'all go to his Instagram page, Ricky don't post. Ricky don't do nothing like other than just live. And so, like, as far as when it comes to social media, and so for me and him both, we did have that issue with editing. It's like y'all didn't show any of his good qualities or traits or anything, like even to the space of when I first moved here, what Ricky meant when he said I pay all the bills. When I first moved here, obviously I ain't had no job because I was, transitioning everything. This man was giving me an allowance, a 2-week allowance. Every 2 weeks I got my little money, and he was just making sure, I had all my needs were supplied by him. And even with moving, this man moved me back to Dallas in 2012, and he didn't have to do that. And then he came and got me last year. Was it last year? I can't even remember these years. He came and got me. Like, my family met him. He packed the whole truck up, drove the U-Haul. I didn't drive, y'all. That's a 12-hour drive.
Right.
I did not drive not one time in that 12 hours. Unloaded the truck the same day. And so that's my thing. Ricky is really, really a great person and a great man. It's just that in that show, they did not edit that when it came to me and him. And I did see it with him and other people. Let's talk about Mark.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I know.
Look, y'all missed it. I said Mark. Mark was my first date.
Oh. Oh, I forgot about him.
Right.
Sorry. Okay, let's talk about him. What about Mark?
Nah, I did, but I just wanted to give Mark a shout out because he was a really, really good date, and he also opened that whole conversation to the co-parenting and what is my issue, and so like that was the person that really got that conversation started with me. But if we're going to Marcus and I connected off the straight merit of him being from Dallas. That was our first connection. Like, that was the biggest thing because we were both from Dallas. And so, like I said, I be having a loyalty to Dallas. Like, even with Dunbar, I'm just like, hey, you from Dallas? Like, we gotta get together. And like, and in those spaces, the thing about me too is, I guess because I'm a hairstylist, I can really grow in any friendship dynamic with any man. And Mark, to me, and I remember, I never forget, and this is an exclusive for y'all, midway through the dates, a producer asked me about Marcus. And I was like, I really don't like him, but, because he was doing a lot for me.
You felt like, I liked it. I was like, give it to her. Give it all to her. But yeah.
I mean, I liked it in the space of, and the cat I was then, I was really big on trying to make Ricky feel away. And so I liked it in that space, because especially when we were on that double date, it was like, let's see about let somebody feed you some food, okay? Because I'm not gonna lie, I was a very, very, very petty person, right? And I had to really grow in that space of that ain't cute. And like, my granny was the first person to check me, because her thing was, I get why, because my granny called it before anybody could. She was like, I already know why you was doing all that with Marcus, because you was trying to make Ricky feel away, but that don't make you look good. And so my thing was, I had to kind of take a step back. But then too, this is the part that people keep forgetting. We're in a process. So how can I take the process seriously if I'm also tiptoeing around Ricky's feelings? And the same for him. And like, after the Sheila situation, that's why, if y'all notice, I backed off. I was like, hey, if you and Sheila having a good time, baby, keep doing your thing. And that's why even at both out, hey, Sheila, like, I'm not intimidated by nobody, nor am I insecure. And that's something I was like, I definitely gotta let be known. Like, and that was, I told Ricky, baby, they need to check my damn Instagram, because ain't nothing insecure over here. Okay. What made I was insecure in my relationship because of no boundaries being set. That is the insecurity. I'm not. My relationship has insecurities because there are no boundaries in certain areas that I felt. There is no communication about certain things. And then, like, to a degree, I'm just not comfortable. And so how do we handle that, right? And it ain't about my insecurities. It's about you creating a reassurance for me. I think the most feelings I had for Marcus in the space that we were in was I really want to work with him, because like he was trying to do real estate, you was
Right.
trying to do everything I'm trying to do. So it's just like, bro, we can do it. And then too, mind you, he's in Dallas, going back and forth to Atlanta. So that's how we really off camera. When we were setting up scenes, that's what me and Marcus was talking about a lot. It's like, okay, how about this home health aid? Like how can I get in that program? Or what real estate program was you doing? You know, like, did you go to Champion? Like, that is where our connection was. It's in us both trying to grow in Atlanta.
Wow. So it was nothing there.
Not for me. I will say this, and you can confirm it with him. Off scene, I did tell Ricky this the same day it happened. Off scene, he did shoot his shot. And his thing was, no disrespect to Ricky, we've had these dates. I don't know if you're taking them seriously, but I really do like you. And if things don't work out, like, I'm here for whatever you need. And my thing was, okay. Because my thing is, I just didn't take it serious. Like, I just still felt like, because it's still a show.
What?
You know what I'm saying? And outside of the show, if we met and you gave me this same type of consistency, I would probably still not be interested, because he was just not my type. Like, that's just what it came down to. And I'm saying, like, he was just not my type as far as, like, I'm real laid back when it comes to, like, growing with a person. Like, my favorite song by Beyonce is that, All Night. Like, too many people were trying to touch you. Like, I gotta take my time to see if I can, and that's me. Like, I move more slow pace, and that's why even with Ricky, I just kind of fell in love with the notion of, oh, if I'm practicing celibacy, you'll do it too. You're moving at my speed. I'm not having to move at your speed.
Wow.
Girl, why somebody sent me her page, and I went on it, and I was like, damn, I shared to show Ricky. I said, damn, I look like she in a relationship with you. I was like, I don't even post you like this. Girl, I was like, girl, all kind of slides made. If you go on her, I don't even know her name no more. But if you can find her page, if I can find the link that somebody sent me, I'll send it to y'all.
Please send.
Cause I went on there, I just laughed, because to me, I'm just like, it's just funny. Like, I get it too. She's trying to get her clout. It's like, I get it. Like,
wow. I mean, I'm not gonna stunt. She looked like she was into him.
You know what's crazy? I didn't get that until the reunion, and y'all gotta wait to see the reunion.
So, okay. So, in regards to this entire process, we see on the show, though, you were the only one that was not proposed to.
Yes.
And how it was presented was that you guys talked about it, kind of. It seemed like it, like y'all
definitely did. Because what they didn't show, they cut that scene out too. When me and my dad had an opportunity to talk with my granny, Ricky and his brother Patrick came, and they met my dad for the first time. And my dad talked to Ricky and all this other stuff, and Ricky talked to my grandmother, and he got my dad's approval and all that good stuff. But the reality was, what the viewers are saying, we just was not financially ready. Look, see, now this is the catch. Had the show provided a ring for Ricky like they did Marcus at the reunion, we probably would have got engaged. But that didn't happen, and our priorities was just not that right now. Especially after I started seeing myself, it was like, okay, let me get me right. Let me get me right. Not even just for Ricky. And I even think I said that to Dr. Stacey about Marcus at a degree, when they kept trying to push that angle. If I'm not right for Ricky, who y'all saying not right for me, I damn sure ain't right for no Marcus.
Yeah, because that was something I was going to talk about. Y'all were adamant about wanting to be married and this and that third, but I ain't gonna lie, Dr. Stacey was looking at you like, looking at y'all, both of y'all upside y'all head, like, what is wrong with y'all? And so, that was interesting.
And I will say too, Dr. Stacey, I can't speak for her and Ricky's relationship, but for me, we do have a very close-knit relationship. And even to the space of, and I even share this with Ricky, like, Dr. Stacey is like my mama, y'all. Like, and I think that's the space she started stepping up into, because, like I said, my mom was invited to do the show, but she declined. And so I think that touched Dr. Stacey, and then it touched a lot of ladies, because a lot of producers and stuff, they kind of started like really just the makeup artists too. The makeup artist Sherry, like, they all just started like hey, like, like treating me like a child, like, like if we got you, nobody else got you, we got you. And so with Dr. Stacy, she started to see that I was really into the space of healing. And she didn't feel that Ricky was in that space. And so that, I think, is why she could not support us moving forward together. Because her thing, that's why she kept saying it has to be one whole. It has to be one whole. Like, and even when because I don't know what Ricky said, right, the day of decision. But when I watched it, I was like, what? What you mean this is marriage? What you mean if it stay the same, we good? No, we not.
Yeah, I was like, what? I saw what?
Right. I was just confused. And that's why I was like, and I had to look at it. I was like, did somebody tell you to say that? Like,
right. I'm like, that's my marriage, baby.
No, that is not it.
No. No, it's not.
This is the other thing when people ask me, why would you just say yes if y'all not ready for marriage? The show is called Put a Ring on It, which leads to engagement, not marriage.
Ooh,
so exactly. And that is the space that me and Ricky spoke on. Me moving here was my commitment to the relationship. Him proposing to me in any vicinity within these 2 years is his commitment to the relationship. Now on the show, that would have been great. And like that's why I told him too. To me, the only difference would have been televised proposal, right? That's the difference. And then like I told him too, and then if we was on some cheap stuff, like they would have paid for everything we wanted, how we wanted it. So you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that would have been the hugest benefit. But being that me and Ricky are very private and intimate people, even that was a lot for me. Cause he asked me, his mom, and I probably shouldn't say this, but his mom had a ring and she was like, well, y'all don't want to just use my ring? Cause Ricky thing was, what do you want me to do? And my thing was, I don't want to do that cause we're not ready. Like, and that was still the space I was in. I don't want to do nothing for TV. And I kind of started getting him to understand, like, we ain't did nothing yet for TV or for ratings or for views or for clout. So we not going to start just because of proposal. Yeah, I know it's going to look a certain way. And I think that's what hurts him the most is. And I think that's why he kind of has a regret as to why he didn't, because it made him look even worse with how they already edited him. Because then it's just like, you wasting her time. And look. And that's the thing, too. That was the only thing I was disappointed in Ricky about. Even on his date with his ex-wife, Chelsea. I would have hoped and liked for it to look like this, right? Because they are friends. I am scared to move forward in this relationship because I felt that relationship in our marriage. As my friend, what are some things that I can do to be better in this relationship? And then that's what my thing was to him. You see me and Corey date. Me and Corey thing was, hey, in this relationship, this created some trauma for me. And now I'm dealing with it in this relationship. And as my friend, because Corey is now a married man, shout out to him and his wife, Stacy, because we still have that dynamic to still be cool and cordial, his thing was, hey, when I was with you, you had this attitude. You had this going on. You couldn't be, nobody could tell you nothing, and that's the friend part, right? Because now he's still trying to help Ricky. And that was the thing too. Even in the comments, Corey was like, I'm rooting for Ricky. Like, that's your friend.
Right. So before we get into the reunion, how was the energy between you guys after the show ended? That's what I'm curious about.
With who?
With you and Ricky. Like, how was the dynamic after you guys decided not to do the whole proposal? How was that?
Immediately after the show, right? We were good because these were our issues. Once the comments started coming, that's when things got rocky, because I think I was more prepared for the worst. And that's why it was more shocking to me that even Dr. Stacey called me the other day. She was like, girl, you like the show MVP. She was like, they love you. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't expect that, girl, because I know I had some lows in this season. And so for me, I think that was the thing is it just kind of switched up. Like Ricky was expecting the best and I was expecting the worst, and the best happening for me, and then the worst is happening for him as far as the comments go. And so that was creating friction because now I like, do I support my spouse while they getting praise and I'm getting dragged? Like,
right.
And so that was a hard space for us to try to really come out of, because it's just like, I want to support this, but then too, like I said, Ricky not being interested in social media at all, it was just like, I don't want no parts. But then I'm irritated because it's like, but we got to protect, because now we're on a platform and this is part of our job. Like,
it really is. So Now, leading into the reunion, okay, what was your feeling when you said, okay, we're going to the reunion before anything, sitting down? What was your feelings? What was your emotion going into
My
it?
first feeling was, now I can dress myself and nobody can tell me what I can and can't wear. That was my first thing.
Wow,
Like, I
so
was
it was
like,
restrictions
good, I don't
on
gotta
the
listen to
attire?
production no more. Huh?
It was restrictions on your outfit?
Yeah, on wardrobe. And that's what my thing was when the comments came. I was like, I was texting production like, y'all got me out here looking crazy. People talking about I can't dress, I don't got no style, I need to do. I was like, y'all ain't right, man.
Wow.
Even Joya felt the way. But I'm gonna say this though. When Jasmine came and we felt like she ain't had no restrictions, we did start trying to pop our shit a little bit.
Right.
Because we was like, wait, y'all ain't saying them Jasmine, she wearing stripes, she wearing polka dots, she wearing fur, she wearing everything.
Well, that's interesting to know. So, okay, so so it's safe to know that you styled yourself for the reunion.
Yes, well, my stylist's
She
name
had
is
a
Kai,
style.
and he's at the Ivory,
Okay.
so we're gonna definitely shout him out.
Yeah.
But I got to incorporate my own look.
Right.
But going into the reunion, I definitely had some anxiety because we just didn't know, right? Like, and because we hadn't watched the show.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want us to share that part, but I think people in TV world know how these things go
Yeah.
sometimes. We hadn't watched the show. And so that was one of the whole cast's biggest issue was like, we don't even know what we have a reunion for. Like, we don't know what we look like on TV. And y'all want to sit here and talk about it. Talk about what? And they was like, oh, we gonna show y'all little clips. And we was like, that ain't enough. We need to see what happened.
Right.
So that created anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Because we knew we weren't gonna know. So just imagine the couples that got engaged. Like,
Yeah.
that was my thing for Joya and Jasmine and Zay. It was hard because like these are my friends now, right? And so it's just like I'm so happy for y'all, but we can't even like post and tag and like and and they couldn't even tell their families.
So
And
y'all
so
knew.
mhm.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Because we became friends, and so when the proposals happened, production became our friends too to a degree. So they was kind of like letting us know, inquisitive of like how would we want to get engaged? You know what I'm saying? Like, how would you want the setup to be? And stuff like that. And then for me, because my producer was Simone, and her biggest thing was if you get a ring, if you don't get a ring, do you want something big or not? And my thing was I want something big, period.
Hello.
Right. And so that's why I definitely like me and Ricky's decision date because it was what we needed to, in my opinion, for a fresh start. Because it was just a good energy. Like on the date, obviously that was the focus, but they allowed us to have an entire date, y'all. And it was like the restaurant was closed down and everything.
Wow.
And like it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. So I'm forever indebted to OWN for all the free meals because it was just so good. Like but I was more nervous too, y'all, about the reunion with the whole co-parenting conversation because that was my biggest thing to Ricky is I didn't want to address that on TV. That was the one thing I did not want to address on TV because my thing is the backlash. Like, what if things go wrong and then we in this whole situation to now we have a real issue in real life with your baby mama and me. And so that was the one thing I was kind of like nervous about. And then of course, the extras. That's why I started calling them Sheila, Marcus, Jacoby, Luther.
What
The
happens
extras.
on there with the extras that we gonna see? And can you talk more about like some moments that you just are like, I'm gonna address?
I think my biggest moment was I felt played, y'all,
Wow.
because of Smokey, right? I
Mhm.
felt like, and I was in my healing already, right?
Mhm.
And so I felt like they knew I was trying to heal and they kept trying to poke the bear, right? And so it was like a hard place for me to be in because it was just like, damn, do I go off? Because this shit, like, is this mad disrespectful? Or do I keep it cute?
Right.
And so that, and even with Marcus, because like he was saying some stuff, and I was just like, what? Like, bro, we never talked about Ricky on none of my dates. If y'all pay attention, I never bring Ricky up, other than what the show produced the dates to talk about. I never talked about Ricky. My dates, I tried to talk only about me. These are my issues. This is what my concerns is in my relationship. This is what I don't like in my relationship. Nothing of no sex conversations. No, he not doing this. No, I'm living with his whole family and it's uncomfortable. None of that happened. All my dates was about I'm in Atlanta because I want to build my clientele, or me and Ricky's relationship is X, Y, and Z, but nothing in depth about my relationship or who Ricky was as a person in my. I don't know if they're gonna show it because I showed it. Check that shit. He was like, because they was like, well, it seems like, because they was like, well, how do you know Catherine and Ricky didn't get engaged? Have y'all been talking? And he was like, Catherine, you want to tell him? I was like, nah, Marcus, like, don't play with me. You know damn well we ain't had no conversation since the show ended. Like, don't do that. Like, and so he was like, no, I'm just playing. Yeah, don't do that.
Wow. So they tried it.
Definitely. And that's why my thing was too, I felt played because it was just like, y'all trying me because y'all already know I'm healing right now.
Wow. That is some crazy tea right there. Oh my gosh. So where are you now? After the show, after the reunion, where are you and Ricky at now?
That is to be determined.
Wow.
And it's more so in a space of because Ricky was a little late to the party, but he definitely started noticing that it was some things that he wanted to work on, and these things he needs to work on, and it didn't involve me, and I was in the same space, like, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z, and I feel like I need to do it alone. As far as our relationship, we are still in a relationship, but as far as like the dynamics, it's just a space of we're taking it one day at a time because we're both trying to figure ourselves out. And the saddest part in our relationship is we really thought we knew ourselves, and that's why we jumped in this relationship and was ready to make those commitments. But this show, along with Dr. Stacy's help, really exposed some issues that we both had, and I think that's the space as friends that we were like, okay, we respect each other enough to say we're not in our healthiest spaces to be in a committed relationship, but we're still in a relationship until we can figure out our next step. Another thing too, the network also provides a psychiatrist, which I'm assuming if OWN does it, everybody does it. And my biggest thing is because I've seen so many other of my castmates really get caught up in the comments. Don't give a damn about them comments. Don't give a damn about them comments. And like I had to tell Joya this at one time. They only are seeing 5 minutes of a 6-hour taping. They couldn't possibly know half the stuff that happened on these dates, in these houses, in these relationships. Like, so why even get caught up? It's not true. Like, it is what it is. And then my other part is, if you're going to be on TV, do it right. Like, and that was my thing at the end. Like, be authentically yourself. We've seen so many times that those that were authentic and they were truly themselves, from Cardi B to Sukiya or whatever her name is, like, they pop because people really do like authenticity. They like things that's tangible. Like, okay, I've been through that. That sound like me. People like to be realistic. They don't like to feel like, oh, she thinks she better, or they better than us. No, like, me and Ricky are a real couple. We go through real relationships, and I know that was something I said on another interview. Our relationship was never cookie cutter. We never had that type of relationship where it's like all in public PDA. Like, me and Ricky's relationship really does look like homegirl, homeboy. And like on the show when we was watching it, we was like, damn, we do like we just really just homegirl, like,
Right.
like, but that was something we were comfortable with, right?
Right.
And my only thing is just creating more romance because Ricky is, like you said, so laid back and chill. So if I say, and I won't even say more romance, it's an initiative for him to do it, because whatever I'll be like, hey, let's do this, he gonna be like, all right, oh, let's do this, all right. Because he's not opposed to anything, especially if it's making me happy. And I'm more so the same way. If it makes my partner happy, why not?
Yeah.
Let's see, but this is what's crazy, right? Ricky and I just actually sent him a picture because the other day he made the bed and it looked like I made it. And I was like, oh, look at you. But today he made it Ricky way. And I sent him a picture. I said, see, this is what it looked like when you make the bed. Like,
Well, yes. Well, you know what? First and foremost, we just want to thank you for allowing us this time, this opportunity to talk to you. This is not going to be the last time.
Not gonna
Okay.
be the last because man, you got some stuff to talk about.
But that is
But thank you again for having me. And then for all your subscribers and followers, please make sure you guys add me on Instagram. I'm cat_the stylist or the Catherine Williams for my personal page, but don't come on there talking about the show.
Okay, before she scratch you, okay?
Right. And y'all gonna see me do that. I hope they keep that in there because y'all see I had my gloves on at the reunion. I was like, yeah, like, don't do it. Don't do it now.
Okay, don't do it till now, okay?
Right.
Well, thank you again for representing the D. You did it so well. We love you, and we will have you back soon, my little bug.
All righty.
I'm Whitney. Keep it cute.